All right, I think we're up and running. Let me check my signal here real quick to see that we're up. I'll if we're good, I'll push my signal on social, and then we'll get started. So, checking in, mic check. Social, and then we'll get started. That sounds really good. Cool. That volume's still a little bit too high. Let's bring that down just a snig. There. All right, cool. And excuse me for the throat clearing. Let's see. So my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish online, and we are creating content for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We're publishing an adventure on the DMsGuild called Crystals of Mabar. You can see the book cover here. It's for characters levels 7 and 8. You're fighting basically undead, demons, and necromancers in the Carnwood of Corvair. And let's see. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'm just going to fix my screen here real quick and say if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. Here's a bunch of other books that I've already created that are on the DMsGuild. They all have free preview. Check them out. Here's the full playlist of all 513 episodes of us creating all the art, assets, maps for the adventure. Here's some of my social stuff. Check it out if you want to support me that way. And let me drop this down out of the way. That's not the way to do it. Blip, go there, and let's see, let's get get this book cover out of the way, and blip, there we go. So, cool, okay, formatting's good. For those that aren't familiar, we're using a 16 by 9 format in a PDF. If you have your screen full size, it's the 16 by 9 format here on tablets, on desktop monitor. And each of these 3 columns is also a 16 by 9 format in the vertical alignment. So when you actually have it as a PDF, you can look at a splash page in a landscape environment. And if you tilt your phone sideways, you'll be able to look at it one column at a time as well. So that gives us a lot of area. It's a 17 by 10 inch document. Each column is about 5.5 inches. And it's 17, yeah, it's like, yeah, 5.5 with a 1/4 inch borders. And so this is about a 10 inch area here, and looks like we're working with about a 7 inch area here. So 7 by 10, almost a full piece of paper sideways. We're still working on the sketch for what Atur Academy will be. So without further ado, we're going to dive into it. Oh, let me just, I'm going to get the text out of the way so it's out of the way. We're going to be using, there's very little information about Atur Academy in the world, especially its visuals. So what I did find, though, was this map, which was created by Casa Stereo. Instagram for Casa Stereo is CASSASTEREO89, and Casa Stereo does a ton of cartography for Eberron specifically. Check out their work on Patreon/Casa Stereo. There's literally years worth of various maps that you can use if you're an Eberron enthusiast. This is legitimately good stuff. So go check out Casa Stereo. Bless for having this provided online. This is fair usage. I'm just using it for basic architectural design idea and for color references. I think the coloring on this looks really great because I don't see color at all. It's just grayscale for me. So I need to find visual references online to be able to provide a color palette for me to use. And I like the look of this, so we're going to go with it. As you can see here on our little color blip over here, the RGB scale on the right-hand side, this has a mild greenishness to it that aligns a lot with the green that we've been using for the Mabar Manifest Zone that creates fog. Also, there's a lot of green fog that's coming off of this map. I find that to be mildly miraculous. It looks like Atur is wafting into ties to a manifest zone, the same as what we have in the Karnath Woods. So this is a little bit amazing to me that my gut went in this direction, and then I find a map from a few years ago that that's using that that same idea. So I feel very blessed here. So we have the campus. I don't feel like I need to do the full campus. I think I want to focus on. I mean, these are like dormitories, and here's probably campus buildings. The resolution here is really low. I'm not trying to steal the work. I'm just trying to use the color references. So I think what I'm going to focus on is this central building here, and have the mountain backdrop. This is dropping in terrain into the background. So I feel like, how do I want to do this? Oh, this is me doing composition design. So we're just doing sketch work today, trying to build a design that's going to be aesthetically pleasing. Let's drop the text back in here because it's relevant for framing. Let's see. First off, is my music still going? No, my music is not still going. For some reason, Discord or Epidemic is not playing nicely today for whatever reason. So okay, let's do so. Let's grab some references here real quick. Let's go with Stormy Sky. That looks really cool. So let's grab that. Copy image. Thank you, Timely Timer. There, grab that as another reference. Best place to start is the front or the back. You always want to start at the back and work our way forward. I definitely want to have this above. Let's see, let's grab this as a base. Go with this as sketch. And we'll go here with sky. For now, I'm just starting off with just a color block. Just so I have an idea of what the effective area that we're actually going to deal with. Just blocking in some color, just so I don't have to rely on the text for my frame. I'll have the color base as my frame. It's also starts setting the mood. This should be a really good. This is a good like on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being black, 10 being white. Oops. This is about a 3 or that's probably about a 4. So if I bring things into about like this, that should be a decent frame for us to operate inside of. And I can push outside of the lines a little bit if I want to, but that's pretty good. So once we finish with the painting, we'll add a mask layer in so that the text isn't so that the text stands independently from the color. But for now, I don't care if it pours into the rest of the page because it's going to get masked. And I always want to extend the border beyond the reach of what the viewer is going to see in case I have to do any small corrections. I'm not limited by having done too little illustration to block it in properly. Let's see. So that means I'm gonna pull these references over here instead. There, we'll put them up there. That's a good place for them. Let's see, let's grab some more dark. east, west. Good. So this illustration is going to be here, looking to the west, no, to the east. So there's mountains off to the east, so we can drop in a dark sky like this. I think I want to have. I don't want to be parallel. I think we want to be on the ground looking upward, so that the dome rises. So mostly so I don't have to worry about too much architecture, like incidental architecture. I don't have to worry about my zoom. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I just want to pull this darker sky in, since we're going to be looking upward. The darker the sky is, the more this light green is going to stand out against the backdrop. Not gonna lie, I kind of like that as a background color. It's actually incredibly relaxing to look at. Low key, kind of interested in keeping that. We haven't finalized. Well, this like cream off color that we have in the background here, that's just an off white. Here you can see here with the RGB, it's 238, 238, 232, and then further down in the page it's 237, 238, 231. It's got a very mild gradient. It's it's not uniform, but it's only off by like 1% or 2%. It's very mild, but it's not 255, 255, 255 pure white. That's harsh to look at, and it causes eye strain over time. So you always want to use something that's a little off white, so that it doesn't interfere with the text at all. And I use about a 128, 128 here. Hold on, let's there you go. Yeah, 102, 102, 102. It's a real mid gray, like 50-50 grayish. That with the off white, it makes it really, the eye doesn't have to strain looking at the text, and that's important. I see a lot of PDFs that get really fancy with the background font mixture, like a black background with a white front and stuff like that. That can get dicey, because if you're doing any kind of what's the word I'm trying to use? If you aren't using really basic like gray tones and stuff, it can be, like for me in particular, being colorblind, it can be really difficult to actually see what the text is. Some PDFs get a little bit too artistic with their font and background color usage, and I can't actually read the document, and that ends up making me not purchase it because I can't read the fucking thing. I'm not gonna call it any specific examples because I don't want to trash anybody. That's the only people I trash online is WotC. But I'm interested. I think this is a fun approach. I don't think I'm going to pursue this. I'll probably end up blocking this off. But it's compelling. It's compelling. So right now I'm just working this color into the canvas to have a gradient, knowing that the building is going to rise up above that. I feel like I want to push this out too. So right now I'm just laying in a background color for me to have in mind how like when I'm doing the line art, I could do the line art like in white lines instead of black to help build the outline of the building, knowing that it's going to be a light green, like that dome is a bright greenish color. The line art that I do can also be that same color, so that I'm not operating in black and then have to, like, if I go with black line art and then flip it, it's gonna change the contrast balance. And I want to be mindful of that while we're building the composition. And I could use an automated feature to create this this gradient, but I like doing it manually. Like Bob Ross, I'm just wiping back and forth with my cloud brush tool. The tools that I use, the set here, this is on my Patreon. You can be an unpaid member to get access to it. Be welcome to kick on through, and I'm not doing a lot with my Patreon right now, but once we finish the Color Mana Spell Point variant rule system for 2024 and have that published along with the Martial Power system, I plan on doing taking Magic the Gathering cards and then converting them into D&D stuff. Using that stuff, all my books are 100% free preview on the DMsGuild. So all the mechanics for building characters and using color mana as your basis, as your base, with all 14 character classes, using a mana pool as their core resource. That'll all be free for people to look at on DMsGuild. And then you can use my Patreon if you're interested in looking at design ideas. I can just take random cards, and patrons will be able to vote on, like, what do I build next, and then I build it. That's a fun idea for me to play with. So I'm thinking about doing that as a. I gotta get the 2024 books published, and that'll be my 2026 project to build out those books. But once we finish this Eberron adventure, we'll be going into the Bastion campaign document to build out Dominion style of play using the Bastion mechanics from the 2024 DMG. That'll be our next major project. I think that has more value. I think that's going to benefit more people. Although I love the color mana system, more people are going to be looking at the Bastion option in the DMG and wondering what the fuck they're supposed to do with it. Then people are going to be looking at D&D and wondering how to make it Magic the Gathering. So while Magic the Gathering is certainly my main passion, I think I served the community better by fleshing out the Bastions. So that will be my next project. Actually, once I'm done with, I have Andy Healy and Stuart Braz help me create this adventure. So I'm obligated to get this thing done, so that they can, so that they can have the rewards of having it done alongside me. So I've been prioritizing this as my main project. But once I'm finished with this, I don't have any obligations to work on any pieces. I can do whatever I want. It's I'm just holding myself to getting this done out of respect to them. But once I'm done, I can bounce back and forth amongst different projects. So I can work on both the Bastion campaign book and the Color Mana books and the Spelljammer stuff that we've been playing with. I can work on all of those in tandem, changing what I work on every day as I please, without having any obligation to anyone else. So I'm I am looking forward to returning to that freedom of decisions, because I like to bounce back and forth between different pieces. Stuart and Andy have been very generous in being patient in me building this thing. It's a colossal project, and if I don't have I work on game design stuff on Thursday nights and Monday nights and Tuesday and Friday lunches, because if I don't have a something else, like if I only work on one project, the chances of me burning out on that project are huge. So by having multiple projects at the same time, it gives me a way to stay active but not hyper focus and burn out on the same piece. Because it's been such a massive project building this thing. I had no idea how much effort would go into making an adventure. This has been a really big experiment for me, and I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to have the energy to make something this massive again. It's really pushed me, as a solo designer to make something just this in depth. It's adventures are so much more. There's so much more moving pieces to them than character options. Just all the visual assets, the maps, the tokens, all the things that go into that. The organization of the page layouts to make sure that maps are relevant to the text that's on the page, and being able to properly structure everything so that you provide the information that the DM needs to run the thing, but to have it fit within the space that's available to do it. It's a hell of a lot trickier than I initially thought. So maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I don't know. I love the process, but by God, it's a fucking monster. So I don't anticipate doing another one of these anytime soon. But there's at least one more Eberron adventure that I want to do. I just don't think I'm going to get to it until like 2028, assuming that solar flares don't destroy our society. I want to get the Bastion campaign, the Spelljammer Kaiju and Mecha book, and the Color Mana books done first before I consider creating another Eberron adventure. But I've got other adventures that I want to build, and I'm excited about. So just give me time, stick around. God's willing, I'll have another decade or two for me to be able to build stuff like this, and there's plenty of stuff that I want to do. So as long as I can keep picking myself up and pulling myself to the keyboard and pushing a stylus and typing keys, I'll keep producing stuff. I'm concerned that my aspirations for things to do with 5th edition will outlast the life cycle of 5th edition, either under WotC's control or if they sell it off for parts to somebody else. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, 3rd edition lasted a decade, so I have time to get all the things done that I want to do. Assuming that this is assuming that they keep it forever and that it is their forever system. If that is the case, then I'll have plenty of time to finish all the things that I want to do. I like that. That's looking pretty good. We're just layering in some colors from the storm. Boop. I get a real Gidi Prime sort of feeling off of this, the Harkonnen homeworld from Dune. Carnathy always gave me a real Harkonnen vibe. Like in the Spelljammer campaigns that I run in Eberron, Carnath has a very almost a what was the name? Zarkon from Voltron. There's a real Zentradi Robotech sort of look to the Voltron enemy fleet. They have skulls on their ships. I always use that as inspiration for ships with Carnath in Spelljammer, and I like extending that motif into this, since that's what I'm most familiar visualizing for Carnath in general. Also, a lot of Necromonger from Pitch Dark. What was that? Chronicles of Riddick. That was it. That was kind of a train wreck of a movie series, but I liked where it was going. Peace and love to Vin Diesel. You were a nerd. You were a pioneer nerd for us. We appreciate you, sir. I wanted to build the sky before we actually did the architecture illustration, because this is going to help us where we put highlights and shadows to make sure that it has good contrast against the backdrop, and the sky being the backdrop. Obviously, we want to paint that in. Plus, I like doing Bob Ross stuff. I love this is starting to look really fucking cool. I'm really liking how this sky is turning out. So I'm really glad this is the approach that we decided to take. I don't always do it this way, but I was inspired. Just the muse said, do this, and my job is just to do what she says. So I try not to think too much about what I'm doing when I'm actually painting. The more I have to think, the slower I move. Like everything, it's like Einstein says, time is relative. If I'm not thinking about the paint flows, and it just ends up doing what it wants. And at the end of it, I end up having an illustration. But if I have to think about the specifics of what I'm doing with each individual pen stroke, I lose that flow, and everything comes to a crawl, and it just starts breaking down for me. So I try to stay as light and empty-headed as I can. And talking to people helps me escape and forget the paint. Thank you, Timely Timer. This is going to be a short session today. I've got still got about 40 minutes left, though, so we're doing pretty good. So I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning like this. I'm doing artwork like this Eberron adventure for now. On Mondays and Thursday nights, and Tuesday and Friday in the afternoon during lunch, I do game design for Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition. And but tomorrow night, normally I would start like around 6 o'clock PST, minus 8 UTC. I'd start doing game design, but I'm also one of the participants in Wally DM's, Fred Wheeler's How to RPG, and AJ Pickett. They run one-shot games, and currently we've been playing Shadow Dark. So we'll have another Shadow Dark adventure tomorrow night that I'll be participating in. So I'll post that on my social medias. So if you follow me on Discord or Sky or X, I'll be posting that I'm up and running. Hey, Rel, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. So I'll be playing some Shadow Dark tomorrow night, and then once we're done with Shadow Dark, I'll be diving back online to finish up the Strixhaven backgrounds, or the bastions, the bastion options for Strixhaven, and then we'll be getting into Theros Piety. And once we finish Theros Piety, we'll probably have. I think we'll finish up Piety probably on, if not Friday lunch, then Monday night for certain. And once we do, we'll be able to shift into developing the Mage Tower PvP sport for 5e combat. And the playtest that we're running for Martial Powers is level 3 to 8. We're currently 7th level, pushing into 8th level. And once we get to 11th level, I'm thinking we're going to end the Mega Dungeon and instead start building characters for Strixhaven Mage Tower competitions. So if I can get 6 people together, that'd be amazing. I doubt I will. But if we can have at least 4 people, we can do 2v2s. If we have 3 people, I can have a team of NPCs as a Mage Tower team versus the players that show up. But it's experience. Like, there's a lot of people do like PvP arena stuff, and it's always, I mean, what else is it going to be? It's going to be 1v1 combat or group combat. But by making Strixhaven a sport, you can have PvP matches where players are working towards scoring goals and preventing the enemy from scoring goals. It's a sport. so we can break it down into 3 periods, and between each period you get a short rest. So you have first period of competition, first person to 3 points ends the first period, and then second period, then you take a short rest, which would be like a 1 minute, like hyper fast 1 minute short rest. You get your short rest in, and then second period, first person to 3 points, and then and then you get a short rest again, and then third period, first person to 3 points ends the match, and whichever team. There's 2 ways of doing it. Whoever gets to 9 points first, or rather, whoever gets to 6 points first, or conversely, whoever wins. Like if you win the first 2 periods, there's no real reason to have the third period. I'm still working out the logistics there of being able to make it like fast and efficient to get through an entire match of Mage Tower. I haven't quite worked out the details there, but that's what we're going to work on. That's going to be our next project after we finish the Theros Piety system. Because when we rebuild the color mana spell point variant rules, when we first made the spell point variant rules, there was only Ravnica, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, the book, and then they came out with Theros later, and I had other projects I was working on. And then they came out with Strixhaven, Curriculum, and Chaos, and there were other projects that I was already working on. So when those books came out, I didn't have the bandwidth to be able to do anything with them. And now that we have a new edition for Dungeons & Dragons, I need to rebuild the color mana system to correspond with how the characters changed with the new edition. So the work is necessary. And since there's so much more stuff now available, I've had a number of years to play around with the ideas of Strixhaven and Theros and Ravnica, and I've come up with better ways of basically expressing characters of those campaigns. So I can integrate those things into the revised mechanics that we're going to be building at the books. So since Strixhaven, Theros, and Ravnica exist and they're available for us to make use of on the DMsGuild, I really like how this is looking. I'm going to just add a little splash out here. Really, really like how this looks. Let's get the sketch out of the way. Where is that spec coming in from? It's a little white spot. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There we go. Yeah, that's a decent sky. I think I want to... I want to put a striping down here. It'll probably be covered with architecture, but let's take the moment and do it. I don't know if this is the right decision or not. It's just what I'm doing. It's a separate layer, so if it ends up feeling weird, I can get rid of it. But it's where my heart's guiding me, so I'm going to do it. You know, no, I don't think I like it. I think I actually want it gloomier. Let's switch to something darker instead. Oh yeah, I think I like that better. We'll leave that be. That layer's not hurting anybody. I don't need to destroy it yet. Maybe we'll find that lighting ends up having a purpose. Maybe I just don't understand that purpose and I'm doubting it. Doubting the process. Never doubt the process. Stick to the habits. Ah, I love that. It feels good. All right, so this is just our backdrop for us to then sketch upon. And I want to be mindful that when we drop the text in, it's the text dips in here, right? So we need to keep this. We need to keep this upper right-hand corner basically clear of anything. So the center point, it'll be off-centered here. There's a lot of spill happening in over here, so I need to be mindful of not having too much and nothing too important off to the side over here where the text is overlaying, or over here where there's text overlaying. So the active area, like this is my core active area. Luckily, with the rule of thirds, this is going to actually work out really well of having an off-center. You don't want to just have things like dead center of your illustration. It looks clumsy. There. So when we actually build the composition, you always want to be a little off center. Having things be asymmetrical is interesting. Symmetry is beautiful when you're looking at people, but not nature. And I feel like there's. Nah, that's good. We're gonna leave that like that. So that's our sky. We're gonna let that sit. Here's our sketch that we had initially, and I don't like that orientation. So I'm going to let's see. We're gonna make that blip, and we're gonna go. Actually, we'll go to here. Blip, blip, blip. And we're gonna make a new illustration. And again, we're using Casa Stereo's map as our inspiration for format. And again, Casa Stereo does a ton of Eberron cartography. Here's Casa Stereo's Patreon, Casa Stereo, IG Casa Stereo 89 has literally done years and years and years of Eberron cartography on their Patreon, and definitely worth looking at. If you need this stuff, definitely worth following. I'm using it for color reference. And it's just it happens to be a miracle that they're depicting the manifest zone that Atur Academy is built inside of, similar to the manifest zone that we created. I didn't even know this existed, and the colors just happen to be the same. It's a small miracle, and it just tickles me endlessly. So I'm going to use this as our base color when we're doing our sketch. Because we have this darkened sky, we can have this will obviously stand out really nicely. So that should be really good contrast. Hey, what's up, Rel? I was thinking this for some time now, to even in a couple of years, and I think the Ranger should not be a half-caster. Spellcaster doesn't add anything to its identity as a hunter of monsters. Yeah, that is a very common opinion. You are in good company, sir. There's a designer named Heavy Arms who has done a warlock sort of version, a non-caster with like invocations. Heavy arms. He's done a number of pieces on the DMsGuild. He doesn't use DMsGuild anymore. I think he uses ttrpg in his Patreon now to create content. He created a really good version of the Gunslinger, and he has a really good invocation style of Ranger that is very much worth your time looking at if you don't like Ranger being a spellcaster. Highly recommend. Heavy arms, and he happens to be a pretty cool guy. He hangs out on Terran's Discord. Well, at least he used to. I haven't seen him around much lately. But great guy, good designer, definitely worth your time. Heavy arms. He built the Armorer's Handbook on the DMsGuild, which has a magic socket gem system that harkens back from 2nd edition that he translated into 5th edition very successfully. Yeah. Hold on, I gotta fix my rig here. Something got knocked askew, and I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Good morning, folks. Thanks a lot for folks being here. We do. What am I? I'll be here for another. I'll be here for about another half hour or so. Yeah. So let's see if we can. Let's see if we can build this thing out. Let's drop our text back in for framing. We're going to switch to a circle, and we're just going to make a really big circle. Contemplating. Hey, what's up? And with that, Hunter's Mark doesn't do a good job either to represent that. I think the Rangers should return to the favored foe feature, but this time they get bonuses based off that type. Sure. Go for it, man. Build it. Let's see it. I agree. I don't like Hunter's Mark at all. That's why I replaced it with Mark of Prey as a class feature instead of a spell. It's for anyone, I know that you're familiar with this already, but for anyone that's familiar with the martial power system that we've been designing on stream, we replaced Hunter's Mark as a spell with Mark of Prey as a class feature. That anytime as a bonus action, you can mark a target as your prey, and then you get basically bonuses to attack it. And it always takes a bonus action to switch targets. Because you get as your levels stack up, you get significant advantages. I mean, like literally advantage to attack your mark. You get because everything's using a mana system. You get bonus mana to automatically deal additional damage when you hit a target that scales over time. Your ability to track them anywhere on the same plane of existence as you are. The mark at higher levels, the mark can persist. If you're unconscious, or even the only thing that stops you from being able to track your prey is death, regardless of where it is in the universe. So it scales better with the system that we use, and it doesn't get in the way of concentration. Because I like everything being mana based. So if you're not a spellcaster, you're channeling powers instead. So I like that mana as a resource, but I agree. I mean, in that sense, martial powers are not spellcasting, but it's still a mana-driven effect. And with my design principles, I want everything using mana one way or another. But that's just the Magic the Gathering aesthetic. Like Magic's all about mana, channeling mana, managing your mana, tapping, maintaining it. If I wasn't obsessed with color magic, I would agree with you that having a resourceless ranger would be a good idea, kind of like a rogue. Ranger to me kind of exists in a space between rogue and paladin. So, I mean, by design it kind of is. Right now, I'm just working on just a general dome. I mean, obviously, because of the color that I'm using, that should be pretty obvious. Be something like this. I don't know if this is going to be the design that we end up using, but this is where we're at right now. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Yeah, fucking heavy, man. That dude's a stud. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I did that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is not perfect radial. This was hand drawn. You can see those flaws in the lines. They're not all going to the same point. Like this is straight, this is straight, that's at an angle, this is at a different angle. It's not radial symmetry. This was hand drawn. Well done, Casa. I'm not disparaging them at all about those flaws. I'm admiring that, if not the whole thing, obviously it's obviously been handcrafted. It's flaws like that help. I couldn't imagine this being like World Anvil or something like that. That doesn't seem right. This I'm convinced this was hand drawn, and that is admirable. It's got that skull up top. I want to tilt that skull towards the camera so that we can enjoy the benefits of seeing it. But we got 1 point here, we got 1 point here, 1, 2, 16, so there's 4 per segment. 1, 2, this would be half here, and this would be half here. This would be half. This would probably, yeah, probably about like that. I only have to do 1/2 of this because I can. I mean, it looks like shit right now, but that's fine. But we'll be able to do radial symmetry. So we can, or not radial symmetry, but we can like copy, paste, and then free transform, horizontal, flip horizontal. So once we get the symmetry there, we'll be able to line it up so it's perfect. Since the architecture would be perfect, you only have to do 1/2 of anything in this sort of a format. So, I also don't think that this is going to be a really good composition. So I'm going to squat this a little bit like that, and then shrink this down some. What's going on? Well, by bonuses, I mean maybe against fiends, you make different types of holy potions, so to speak, like holy water specialist. Right on. Against monstrosities, you could get more challenges creating. Huh. So you would have different sort of benefits depending on what sort of a foe you're hunting, quote unquote. Let's see. We've got some forest stuff going on down in here, and then we have the actual smoke of the manifest zone. Got our walkway coming in. I think below the dome, we're probably, since we can't see the actual side of the structure. And since there is no actual set, there is no official illustrations of Atur Academy, so we're all just making up shit here. So that gives me the freedom to do whatever I want with it. So push this down here just to hit the ground. Striations like that. I'm gonna leave that open. Hey, what's up? Really the flavor, 100 monsters. Yeah, right on. Like beasts, for instance. Beasts might be a good thing to crit against because all beasts have basically is physical attacks. So like beating, like quote unquote beating them at their own game might be a fun way to do something. There's a lot of different types of monsters, but like aberrations, for example, most aberrations have something that you have to save against. So like having like advantage on saving throws against, or being able to be immune to different sort of like effects that an aberration would be able to use against you might be a way to distinguish aberration hunters from a beast hunter. Beast hunter critting, doing crits a lot, increasing your chance of critting and doing more damage when you crit. That could be an interesting idea. Dragons, I think, have like a universal. Well, I don't know if they have universal fear yet or anymore or not. Honestly, we want to do a skull up here. Yeah, it's a fun idea, man. You should play with it. Actually, check in what Heavy had done, and if he hits the marks that you want, then good to go. But at worst, you can use it as inspiration to build and riff off of to further. I mean, basically redesigning Ranger and redesigning Monk is like a rite of passage for 5e game design. Like no one is content with how it's been portrayed and constructed. So everyone that does design wants to modify or put their mark on what, pardon the pun, on how Ranger is expressed. Something like that. Again, this is just a rough to get an idea of composition and placement. This is probably an example of where I actually do want to use something more like that. Copy paste, transform, flip, horizontal. Merge down. something compelling about that. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that I like a lot. I can feel myself slowing down because I'm thinking. Can you feel that? The slowness? It's not good. Less thought, more do. Hey, I'd like to look at the old books, the 3E era, the books of Aberrations, the Dracon. Yeah, those are worth your time, man. Those are all a lot of fun. Let's merge that. And now we want to broaden this. Thin that down. It's a challenging composition because it's the silhouette's okay. It's not a strong piece. This is not strong yet. I need to when in doubt, cheat. So we're going to fill that in. Here. Transform. Drop that in for now. Super rough sketch for now. So let's go with that. Go with, what we're going to call this, dome. Sketch. I like the orientation. I think this could end up being okay. Let's see if I can, maybe if I drop this down and then, yeah, that immediately feels better. Dropping it down the horizon helps pull it away from overbearing the piece. And then we can click. Let's see. There are trees. So we can be liberal in our tree usage. We get to cheat in some trees here so that it breaks up the shape and changes some color formatting here, or adds color. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, I was right. Hold on. I was right about the sky. Hold on. Remember when I was adding that haze in here and I was like, that doesn't feel right? Well, it is right. Hold on. I was right. Oh my god, that's amazing. Click our mist layer, because it's a manifest zone and it's got the green mist that comes out of the manifest zone. You're going to end up having this stuff basically pushing through the trees and helping make some interest here in the sky. I didn't realize it wasn't the sky that I needed, it was the mist along the ground that would be in the foreground to help create a little bit more interest. Wow, the muse really fucking knows what she's talking about, man. It's not an overly complicated piece. It doesn't need to be. I think it's just going to end up being, yes, this is going to be a building of Atur Academy. There's literally no illustrations of Atur Academy anywhere other than Casa Stereo's map, which they made up themselves. Unless there's one out there I haven't found. I couldn't find it. If there is, someone let me know. Nice. I'm really liking where this is going. I need to be mindful of the text. So shift this over a little bit so it doesn't, like, yeah, this is how far in the text goes. So I want to be mindful of that because it's going to get clipped. This is going to end up looking really fucking cool. You're talking about stuff. I want to read all that text. Meanwhile, my muse doesn't even bother to tell me when I draw too thin. Rangers, so why is Ranger for you in between Paladin and Rogue? Is it due to the assumption of older editions being more? Because the Paladin is a holy warrior that fights for a cause, and the general cause of Rangers is wilderness-oriented, like fighting monsters or defending forests, which is the old traditional approach to like what a Ranger is. A ranger is basically a subclass of paladin that is focused on protecting the forest. Like, my oath is to protecting this forest or protecting these plains or these steppes or these mountains. The idea of them being wilderness warriors and that they're hunters is stealth, which is purview or the arena of the rogue in general. So it kind of has this weird shifted identity of am I a stealth hunter that, or like an assassin, but like a wilderness warrior sort of like scout sort of approach. Like a lot of this, like a lot of the like scout, assassin, monster hunter. Those all sort of have like a very similar vibe to me. And there's just an overflow, like not really mechanically, but like in how they would go about doing that. Like how would a ranger defend the forest? They would snipe people from the trees, right? Well, that's sort of like what a rogue does: set up a blind and then snipe people with their sneak attack. So I could see just ranger being like a prestige class sort of look that bends between rogue and paladin. right? Like if your oath is to protecting your holy land, and you're a rogue, then you could take those two, and then you become a ranger that becomes an assassin that protects your land. Yeah, yep, that's fair. It's the intent. It's but I can definitely see them just being just like a trapper or a hunter, like a more mundane approach to that idea, which would be like a fight, like a paladin is just a fighter that has magic resources or holy power, right? You could have the same oath. Like as a fighter, you could have an oath the same as a paladin. You just don't gain any, in 5th edition, you just don't gain any magical benefits for taking on that oath. You may as well be a paladin so that you can get the magic, unless you want the extra attacks and the second wind and all the other stuff. Like paladin and ranger, that gish space is something mechanically that people crave. They want the gish, but there's no real strong identity for what gish is in D&D, other than it's a split between being a caster and a sword swinger. And 752. So far, I'm digging on the composition. I think this is going to turn out being A-okay. So I'm going to first, let's... All right. Hold on. Missed. There. This is about where the blocking is going to actually be. So taking that into account, there. Maybe I can reduce the amount of text that I have in continuing the campaign so that I can nip that down a little bit, just so that I have a little bit more composition there. I don't know. Maybe this will be fine. This will be fine. Anyway, this is where we're at. We're going to continue with this tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night, I'll be playing some Shadow Dark on How to Art on Wally DM's channel, DM by How to RPG with AJ Pickett, some other people. I'm not sure who else is going to be around. And then after that, like around 7:30 PST, I'll be doing more Strixhaven credit system and college credits, and then diving into Theros Piety. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit bell icon, and I think it should depend on the Gish. Paladin do have it figured out, that oath and their power community. Yeah, right on. All right, that's it for now. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning. I hope you have a great day. Cheers.